Respected Secretary Sir and Principal Madam, I am extremely grateful to you for giving me this noble opportunity for sharing this ideology with the budding citizens of India, whom are really the need of the hour is for them to realize what the true values are. And I am honored by this invitation, and I am grateful to you, sir. Dear students, you are called students. Have you ever thought why you are called students any day? What does it mean? Why you have been named as a student? A student is the one who studies. So one who studies is a student. What is the difference between reading and studying? What do you understand the difference between these two? Reading is the one which, whether or not you know what it means, just because you are able to read and write, just because you are a literate, you just read out the things and without ever being able to really bother what the content is and what it is trying to convey to you. That's what a reading is. And unfortunately, that's what many of the students are doing. We just read, we just cover the syllabus, we just memorize the things and just reproduce in the examination. Studying is different. Studying is అభ్యసించడాన్ని స్టడీయింగ్ అంటారు, పఠించడాన్ని రీడింగ్ అంటారు. సో పఠించడం వేరు, అభ్యసించడం వేరు. సో వెన్ యూ స్టడీ, what it means is you are analyzing the content. You are going deep into the what is exactly the concept that you are intended to know from whatever content that you are being taught. So reading is merely a memory, and unfortunately memory is mistaken for knowledge. Memory can never be knowledge. Mahatma Gandhi defines education is that which brings change in the character. There is a saying called what you call Appo Deepo Bhava. You be light unto yourself. Once you are educated, it must bring a sort of change in your way of thinking, in your line of thinking, in your plane of thinking. So before being educated and after being educated, there must be change in your attitude towards yourself, attitude towards the family, friends and society in general. Don't ever kindly mistake your information for sake of knowledge. Knowledge is something which brings about a change. And there are people who are scholarly, who are too good academically, and they will be the rankers in the university, they will be the toppers in the class always, right from academic beginning till they pass out the college with their graduation or whatever. No doubt they are really good in their academic career. There are achievements and accomplishments and gold medals and whatnot. But they are just academically good, and they may have their gradings and gold medals and all that. But definitely this, whatever academic excellence cannot be considered as knowledge. It is merely he is only skilled enough in a particular chosen field. That's it. But basically, one needs to be a good human being, and everything else is secondary. Whatever your qualification is, you may be an engineer or doctor or collector or whatever it is, they are all secondary, they are attributes. And your worth is only out of your character. You must be a good human being to start with and to end with, and everything else is transitory. They are all see, someone you all pretty well know, the so-called political leaders who are so long they are in their power, and people are around them, and once they step down, no one else bothers really to go behind them. So it doesn't make a person complete. And unfortunately, being aware of certain information in a chosen field is mistaken as a knowledge. And in fact, the knowledge is not something related to a speciality or related to a field. Knowledge is something which should give you the wisdom. Information cannot be mistaken for knowledge, and knowledge of a specialty cannot be mistaken for the wisdom. Wisdom is something which cannot be taught in the schools. There was a saying, I forgot who that noble soul who has uttered these words. He says, I was educated in spite of my schooling. I don't know if it's Bernard Shaw, I don't remember exactly. He says, I was educated in spite of my schooling. He never says because of my schooling. So in a way, your so-called education system, it interferes with your common sense, and it interferes with your wisdom, and it gives you under a false impression that you are knowledge, which is a false illusion. Knowledge is not being aware of some skill and knowledge pertaining to certain field. It doesn't make you knowledgeable. And I have my own definition of how to define an illiterate and literate means. The only difference between illiterate and literate is illiterate will have a common sense. A literate loses even that. That's what I feel, at least. So when you are educated, you are falsely under impression that you are educated and qualified and you are wiser enough, wiser than many of the people around. It is really a sort of illusion and delusion. It should change the character. So you cannot mistake literacy with the education, and education with the knowledge, and even knowledge cannot be mistaken for the wisdom. And another thing is, many of us are struck with these symbols and byproducts, ignoring the main product. As I was telling you, the objective of education is to bring the wisdom, not to get you the degrees and not to get you the scorings or gradings that you pass out with. That is never the objective of education. My profession, being a teacher, teaching the medical students, I keep saying, many of the students in the medical colleges, the rules are rather very stringent, and are very particular about the attendance and the career record and all that. So just for the fear of falling shortage of attendance, in which case they will be detained without being being allowed for the exam. So for the fear of losing the attendance, there is always good number of students in every class, and more than at least 99 to 100% attendance will be there. So they are attending class for the sake of attendance. And of course, I do blame myself and many of my colleagues too. We go there to cover a syllabus. So there the purpose is not to listen, and here the purpose is not to teach. They are coming for the sake of attendance, and I am going there to do the job, whatever that is entrusted to me. My job is to finish the topic, and by the end of the year, finish whatever the syllabus that I am supposed to cover before you take your exams. So that way, your main product is attendance. Actually, that is a byproduct. When you are genuinely interested in coming to a class, your attendance is a byproduct. And similarly, when you are genuinely interested in a subject, you just check yourself one day fully when you choose a particular subject, whatever one of the subjects which is being taught to you. One day you completely mark all the important questions which have appeared already in the earlier examinations, and make a list of the important questions in examination point of view, which many students do quite commonly. And the other day, take the same book and read the paragraphs, whatever, randomly here and there, skipping the pages. Read with an intention to really understand what the concept is, what you are expected to know out of it, and once you know, and what you are expected to give back. So when you are genuinely interested, your concentration automatically builds up. And once there is concentration, your retention also will be much better. So you can, the memorizing and reproducing, it is a part of this whole process. You don't have to make an effort to memorize things once you are genuinely interested. So genuine interest is the key. Once you are genuinely interested, definitely the concentration follows, memory follows, and reproducing, all that, everything else follows. So genuine interest is the key. And similarly, even if you are scoring, even by memorizing, even if you are a topper, I don't think that's not really going to speak of your, your whole personality. It's merely, they are the numericals, they are digits, they just show that on the day of exam, you have excelled, you have done well. And it's not really going to qualify you as a person. And another thing I'm telling you, where the knowledge cannot win, attitude can win. Actually, many of the aspiring young doctors, those who complete their MBBS in India, those who want to go abroad, in United Kingdom and also in United States, there is certain screening test which is meant for the doctors. So in that, no doubt they are going to examine you pertaining to the specialty in which you are going to pursue your further career there or there. But apart from that, you are made to interact with the patient. A separate chamber will be there, you are made to interact with the patient, and you have to take the history, patiently listen to him, and then come to a conclusion with respect to the diagnosis and also with respect to what is the treatment that you intend to render to the patient. All that okay, that part is okay. But once you come out, actually what they are examining is, they are least bothered about your accuracy of a diagnosis. They are least bothered about how knowledgeable you are to be able to diagnose a particular condition when you are dealing with a patient. What they really watch is how you are treating the patient. Treating is not medical treatment. How you treat the patient. See, unfortunately, the case is generally used by many of us and many of my colleagues, and I really sorry for that. Nurse పరిగెత్తుకుంటా వచ్చి డాక్టర్ గారు కేసు వచ్చింది. That is dehumanizing an individual. They are not cases. They are the persons coming to you with a sort of suffering. So until recently, there was only a sort of mechanism devised in the examination only to test for the knowledge. And of late, a system has been developed. It is been designed to train the medical students and even for them to practice once they finish their graduation or post-graduation. So whether it is teaching or learning, 3 domains, even you need to keep it in mind. You need to keep it in mind. Psychomotor domain, and then cognitive domain, affective domain. Of course, these terms are purely medical terms. Cognitive domain means when a patient comes to you with his own complaint, recognizing the nature of the problem and having the knowledge of what is to be done to relieve the patient of his suffering is what is cognitive knowledge. దాని గురించి ఏమి చేయాలి అని తెలిసి ఉండడం cognitive knowledge. ఏమి చేయాలని తెలుసు, ఎలా చేయాలో అని తెలిసి దాన్ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసి మీ స్కిల్ చూపించడాన్ని సైకోమోటార్ డొమైన్ అంటాం. So this was the picture that was complete until recently. Now the third domain, what you call affective domain, has been added to this. So this is what I say. Like they watch when you are being examined in UK and US for the qualifying exams before they issue a license for you to practice over there. They look at the attitude, the way you approach, whether there is a human touch, whether you are empathizing with the patient, and how you make him talk freely to come out with the symptoms actually, how you win his confidence. These all matters, this is what you call affective domain, and these things are being taken care of and they are being made part and parcel of your teaching and learning as well. ఇది కొంచెం జనరల్ టర్మ్స్లో చెప్పుకోవాలంటే intelligence can be of 3 types: social intelligence, mechanical intelligence, academic intelligence. Academic intelligence is what we are bothered, you are bothered, your parents are bothered, and we are all bothered together. As a student, as a teacher, as a parent, the whole thing is getting flooded away with the madness of academic intelligence. So it is nothing but your scores and grades and gold medals and all that. So coming to mechanical intelligence, that is what cognitive domain in medical terms. I am trying to correlate the three domains which I defined in the field of medicine to correlate with the general terminology. So that's what your academic intelligence is, knowing what to do and all that. Then second thing is mechanical intelligence. You might have seen many of the mechanics and carpenters and plumbers and electricians, many of them, they're either semi-literates or they're even illiterates. I still remember one stupid event in my student days. Those are the days when I purchased the first motorcycle in my life, which was gifted to me by my mother. And as I was riding, suddenly it stopped all of a sudden on the middle of the road. I didn't know what to do. I just kicked the bike. Number of times I got exhausted and I was of no clue what to do next. And then I dragged along the bike along the road and till I could find a mechanic. When I went to the mechanic shop, he was really a kid, hardly 12 years, 13 years. He was so studious. He was really attending to his work with all his heart and soul. He was sincerely doing what he is involved in. He just came and, what should I say, he opened the valve from your main to the reserve. Those who ride the bike may be knowing what is main and reserve. పెట్రోల్ కొంత అయిపోయిన తర్వాత రిజర్వ్లోకి వస్తుంది, ఆ నాబ్ తిప్పాలి. అది తట్టలేదు నాకు. ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ ఎంబీబీఎస్ 12 ఏళ్ల కుర్రాడు వాడి దగ్గరికి పోతే వాడు సింపుల్గా ఇట్లా నాబ్ తిప్పి పదం సార్, వాడికి సెల్యూట్ కొట్టంది ఒకటే తక్కువ. సో దట్ ఈస్ మెకానికల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్. సో మెకానికల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ ఈజ్ వర్తియర్ దాన్ యువర్ అకాడమిక్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్. See, you may be a PhD scholar or whatever, and when it comes to really you rendering a help to someone around who is in need of your help, when you are of no avail, all your knowledge or intelligence is a sheer waste. So, ఈ మెకానికల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ ఉండాలంటే చదువే ఉండాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. అకాడమిక్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎ నెసెసిటీ. So looking that way, your mechanical intelligence is much better and far better than your so-called mechanical intelligence is better than your academic intelligence. Then there is a third domain of intelligence, what you call social intelligence. దీన్నే affective domain అంటారు మెడికల్ టర్మ్స్లో. అంటే these terms are descriptive only within the confines of the medical field, how you teach and learn with regard to the medical student, teaching learning methods, and how you attend to the patient. But in general terminology, we can say academic intelligence, mechanical intelligence, and the third one what we call social intelligence. ఈ సోషల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ వాళ్ళకి అకాడమిక్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ ఉండదు, చదువు అనేది ఉండదు. మెకానికల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ లాగా అది చేయటం ఇది చేయటం కూడా రాకపోవచ్చు, బట్ దే నో ప్రిటీ వెల్ హౌ టు డీల్ విత్ ద పీపుల్. ద బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఈస్ అవర్ పొలిటీషియన్స్. చదువు సంధ్య ఏమీ లేకపోయినా, వాళ్ళు రాకపోయినా వాడి కింద ఐఏఎస్ వాడు పనిచేయాలి. ఐఏఎస్ ఏం కర్మ. ద హోల్ హైరార్కీ ఈజ్ అండర్ హిమ్. సో దట్ ఈస్ స్టిల్ హైయర్ plane of intelligence. So this, see, one thing I tell you, this academic intelligence can be taught very easily. It is there in the books, we read and reproduce, and you do the same thing, you read and reproduce. And psychomotor skills or mechanical intelligence, that also can be taught and learned. If you want to learn something, some mechanism, go work under somebody who knows it, they teach you, you learn it. That's it. But this so-called social intelligence, this is where the common sense prevails. It is purely a sheer business of common sense. How to talk to people, how to interact, and how to get your things done అంటే నేను దీనికి మంచి చెడు రెండు ఉంటాయి. వెన్ యూ జస్ట్ బికాస్ ఐ కోట్ ఏ పొలిటీషియన్, ఇట్ ఓన్లీ ప్రొజెక్ట్స్ ద ఈవిల్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ ది సోషల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్. ఐ డోంట్ టాక్ ఆఫ్ దట్ ఈవిల్ ప్రొఫైల్ ఆఫ్ ది సోషల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్. ఐ ఓన్లీ టాక్ అబౌట్ I talk it in a positive sense. There are leaders who are known for their social intelligence positively. Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Kalam. They are all stalwarts of Indian history who are known for their personality. They don't have academic intimate. So Kalam, of course, his profile is entirely different. It is not the education that brought them to limelight. They are not known for their academic intelligence or mechanical intelligence. They are known because of their social intelligence. They felt that social responsibility. So they knew how to get along with the people and how to get the things done. So, by and large, what I keep saying is, once you step out of the college, it's like fish out of water. Even the toppers in the class also may feel hopeless once they are out of this college. It is just because they are completely unaware of the kind of the world they are being exposed to soon after the graduation. It's not like వడ్డించిన విస్తరాకు కాదు once you go to leave the campus. So adi when you have a more and more interaction with the people, and then by way of questioning yourself, every word you speak, every thought you think, and every action, by way of self introspection. మనలో చాలామంది రిలేషన్స్ బిల్డప్ చేయకపోవడానికి ఒకే ఒక కారణం ఏంటంటే వీఆర్ ఆల్, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ మై సెల్ఫ్, వీఆర్ ఆల్ ఆపర్చునిస్టిక్ ఇన్ అవర్ నేచర్. పని ఉంటే చాలా బాగా మాట్లాడతాము, పని అయిపోయిన తర్వాత వాడెవరో మనం ఎవరు. అలా కాకుండా when you are genuinely interested in a relation and his personal profile and professional profile, that's all immaterial to me when I want to really build a relation with you. I am genuinely interested in interacting with you. That's when I can build a relation with you. See, everyone gets easily impressed more than when you talk, more than when you listen to them, they get impressed they connect to you very easily. Listening needs a lot of patience. And most of us pretend as if we are listening. It is only we just wait to other person to complete his talk so that we can immediately reply or respond back without ever even knowing a complete idea of what you are going to talk about. We are always impatient to convey our own views, project our own views, and consciously or subconsciously or unwillingly or willingly, we are unaware of the views of the people around, the perceptions of the people around, and experiences of the people around. We always look at the world with our own eyes. That is the reason why we always think that our problems are bigger in life. See, when you are too selfish, your world becomes too smaller to live in. When you wider you think, the larger the world you belong to. యాక్చువల్గా సెల్ఫిష్గా ఉండటం ఒకటే, మనం బాగుపడాలంటే అదొకటే తెలిసిన మార్గం అని మనం అనుకుంటాం. వివేకానంద సేస్ అన్సెల్ఫిష్నెస్ ఈజ్ మోర్ ఫెచింగ్, బట్ ఓన్లీ పీపుల్ డు నాట్ హ్యావ్ పేషెన్స్ టు ప్రాక్టీస్ ఇట్. దట్ ఈస్ అన్ అబ్సల్యూట్ ట్రూత్. దట్స్ అన్ అబ్సల్యూట్ ట్రూత్. అంటే అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం తన్ను మాలిన ధర్మం వదలు చెడ్డ బేరం అనే సామెత ఉంది. అన్నీ వదులుకొని ఉన్నంత ఇచ్చేమని కాదు దాని అర్థం. దేర్ ఈజ్ అ లిమిట్ ఫర్ బీయింగ్ సెల్ఫిష్. ఇది నాట్ టు ద ఎక్స్టెంట్ ఆఫ్ బీయింగ్ గ్రీడీ అండ్ గ్రాబ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ దట్ ఈస్ అరౌండ్ అండ్ దెన్ అన్నీ నాకే కావాలి అనుకోవడం. అది గ్రీడీనెస్ ఇస్ ఎంటైర్లీ డిఫరెంట్. సెల్ఫిష్నెస్ కూడా, సెల్ఫిష్నెస్ ఎంతవరకు అంటే సెల్ఫ్ కేర్ వరకే. ఆ సెల్ఫిష్నెస్ ఇంకా దాని మోతాదు ఎక్కువైనప్పుడు ఈగో. సో ఇవన్నీ కూడా నెగిటివ్ క్వాలిటీస్. ఒకటే ఏంటంటే మనకు ఇటు సెల్ఫ్ పిటీ ఉండకూడదు, అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం ఈగో ఉండకూడదు. మధ్యలో ఉన్నదాన్ని సెల్ఫ్ ఎస్టీమ్ అంటారు. ఆ సెల్ఫ్ ఎస్టీమ్ ఎప్పుడైతే మనకు ఆత్మగౌరవం ఉంటుందో, మన ఎదుటి మనిషిని కూడా మనం స్టూప్ డౌన్ అయ్యి మనల్ని మనం డిగ్రేడ్ చేసుకొని ఒక పని కావాలని పోయినా కానీ మనం స్టూప్ డౌన్ అయ్యే రకంగా ఉండకూడదు. మన జెన్యూన్ నీడ్ ఎదుటి మనిషికి తెలియాలా, ఎదుటి మనిషి జెన్యూన్ నీడ్ మనకు తెలియాలా, మన జెన్యూన్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఏంది ఎదుటి వాడికి తెలియాలా, ఎదుటివాడి జెన్యూన్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఏంది అనేది మనకు తెలియాలా. See, reciprocation is the key for building a relation. So that alone matters, that alone makes your personal life viable and professional life viable. సో నో డౌట్ వీటికి దీని ప్రయారిటీస్ వీటికి ఉన్నాయి, స్కిల్ అండ్ నాలెడ్జ్కి. బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓన్లీ ఏ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్, దట్స్ నాట్ బీ ఆల్ అండ్ ఎండ్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్. దానికోసమే జీవితం కాదు, అసలు అది జీవితమే కాదు. What about the humankind which existed thousands of years before all these so-called the nonsense degrees and whatever professions that we call specialties that were non-existent? Even then the humankind survived. So it doesn't really make a difference. See, one thing I tell you, there is evolution starting from single-celled organisms to multicellular organisms to the level of apes, vertebrates. So till then there was a physical evolution, biological evolution. Once the human being has emerged, when he made his appearance, when it came into existence, additionally he is endowed with the so-called the mind, the ability to think. ఆ మైండ్ అనేది, ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ అనేది లేకపోయినా మిగిలిన జంతువులన్నీ బతికినట్టుగా మన ఆహారం కోసం కానీ లేదా మనకు కావాల్సిన బయలాజికల్ నీడ్స్కి అన్నిటికీ రిసోర్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి నేచర్లో. ఫర్ ఎవ్రీ బయలాజికల్ నీడ్, ఫర్ ప్రొక్రియేషన్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ స్పీషీస్ అండ్ యువర్ వాట్ ఎవర్ టు టేక్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ ఫీడ్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ దట్. ఇవన్నీ ఈ మైండ్ అనేది లేకపోయినా అన్ని నీడ్స్ జరుగుతూ వచ్చాయి. ఏ స్పీషీస్ విచ్ ఈస్ ప్రయర్ టు ది హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్, then why then there is a mind? We could have survived without the need of a mind like any other animal has survived for all these millions of years. So what is expected out of this mind? At least personally I believe that the physical evolution part is over till the human has come into existence. And here actually it's time for the mental evolution. Mental evolution, it is not necessarily in terms of the intelligence quotient, not in terms of your gradings and degrees and all that. Your certificates are piece of paper for me, including mine I am telling. They do not grade you as a human being. That's none of our business. So there should be raise in the level of thinking, plane of thinking. We must learn to live together harmoniously. So live and let live. Be happy and keep others happy. In the process of getting what you want, don't deprive others of their rights, what they deserve. సో మీరు కావాల్సింది మీరు సాధించుకునే ప్రయత్నంలో పక్కనవాడికి అర్హత ఉన్న దాన్ని కూడా వాడు సాధించుకోకుండా అడ్డుపడకుండా మీకు కావాల్సింది మీరు తీసుకోండి, చేసుకోండి, సాధించుకోండి. బీ హ్యాపీ. బట్ ఇట్ షుడ్ నాట్ ప్రెక్లూడ్ ద డిజర్వింగ్ పీపుల్ అరౌండ్ యూ what they actually deserve. And there is a high pitch fear of competition. Each of us have got our own place in this world. We need not be so feverish about your so-called competition. So actually competition kills the human touch in the human relations, whereas a cooperation builds that human touch. And the civilization, so-called, it is not building the buildings and having more of machines and sophistication. All I don't call this civilization. Civilization is something which teaches you to live together harmoniously. Civilian, that's what is the root word for civilization. It must teach you to live together. It must help you to bridge the gaps, not to build the walls. The essence, the carry home message at the end of the day is being a good human being makes everything possible. Being genuinely interested in doing what you do gets you all that you want. Don't put your mind on the byproducts. Put your mind on the main products and what all you have been longing for, working for. They are all byproducts which eventually follow this main product of being genuinely interested in yourself and being genuinely interested in the people around. So, my humble message is try to realize education is not something to do about your gradings and scorings and university examination and gold medals and all that. It should make you more wise. It should make you more acceptable to society. It should make you more matured to accept the people around you and recognize your own needs and recognize needs of the others. Don't be too selfish to rob the needs of others too. Okay. So I hope I was able to convey whatever message I intended to convey to you. And I am so delighted for this association and being able to hear, to deliver a few words and sharing with the budding citizens. And I look forward to have many more such opportunities in future to join and interact as much as possible, sir.